More moves are coming for the Milwaukee Bucks as the shocking truth has been revealed behind the Kyle Kuzma trade. And what these details are very interesting. We're going to break that down and discuss how a bigger move is on the horizon for the Bucks following that move. But before we get into it, quick reminder, hit that subscribe button. If you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Bucks content. If you're enjoying it, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Again, Kyle Kuzma just got traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. But some new details have been revealed that reveals a bigger picture and paints a bigger picture as to what is coming for the team. And let's dive right into it here. There's a lot of things to go over, and we're obviously going to compare Middleton and Kuzma a little bit. But we'll start with this. The Milwaukee Bucks generate over $29 million in savings by trading Chris Middleton and A.J. Johnson for Kyle Kuzma and Patrick Baldwin. Per Bobby Mark, Kuzma will reduce his trade bonus as well, allowing the Bucks to get below the second apron. So I made a video earlier saying how the Bucks got finessed. I still stand by that. I don't think it was a good trade at all. I think that it doesn't help them a ton. I'm going to be, of course, a fan of Kuzma and wish the best for him on the Milwaukee Bucks, but I do think that the trade opens up some bigger potential moves for this team because now they are under the second apron, which we'll dive into in a minute here, could open some things up for Jimmy Butler to be traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. But regarding the trade in itself, obviously A.J. Johnson was on a rookie contract. He, of course, is their most recent first-round pick, and the Bucks get back Kyle Kuzma and Patrick Baldwin, who's a young player as well. But they save $29 million in this deal. And of course, for the Washington Wizards, they're fine taking on cap hits and all these different things because they're not in a win now mode at all. However, for the Milwaukee Bucks, that's actually going to be pretty important going forward here. You see this from Bucks Show. He's saying another move is coming. And it seems like John Horst is not done. One of the only reasons you want to make this move, of course, you get under the second apron, save the team some money, save the ownership some money. But you have to assume more moves are coming now if you open up that amount of cap space. Now, whether that move is a big splash like Jimmy Butler or it could be some of the other minor moves, this was their, in theory, big splash. But here's some more details from Kevin O'Connor on exactly how this works. The Bucks are no longer a second apron team. They can now aggregate salaries and trades if they choose to. Some tradable players and their salaries. They still have Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, and Marjon Beauchamp making significant money. Middleton for Kuzma suggests the Bucks intend to play more lineups with Giannis at center since Kuzma provides size at the forward spot alongside him. Maybe if another move is coming, it'll support that vision. So we know the Bucks have been trying to trade Pat Connaughton. We know that Bobby Portis, of course, is on the trading block as well, and Marjon Beauchamp, former first-round pick. So when you're looking at the amount of money now, they can aggregate these salaries because they are no longer a second apron team. So what that allows them to do now is make bigger moves that will, of course, help the salaries match. I mean, they were at a point now, of course, when you're in the second apron, they were handcuffed about what moves they could make because they were a second apron team. This trade opens up some huge new opportunities because they can now aggregate these salaries, and Kyle Kuzma reduce his trade bonus, once again trying to help the Milwaukee Bucks here when making moves. And when you're talking about trade targets, Jimmy Butler is, of course, the one that gets brought up the most. There's also some talks about some other forwards as well. At this point, it is clear that the Bucks want to play smaller lineups, small ball lineups with Giannis at the center spot. Brook Lopez hasn't been playing great as of late. He still has his use, especially when going up against teams that are bigger, teams like, of course, the Sixers and Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets over there. But you can see it's interesting things here now because this is from Evan Sittery. The Bucks, who have been continuously linked to Jimmy Butler as a dark horse destination, now can create a trade package for him while staying below the second apron threshold. Butler is $48.7 million. Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, and Marjon Beauchamp is $47.7 million, which those numbers line up almost perfectly. And when you think about what the Bucks could offer now in a package, we know that they've been linked heavily to Jimmy Butler as the dark horse team. The Suns remain the favorites. There's been some rumblings about a bunch of different teams trying to get the Wizards, even trying to get Jimmy Butler, who, once again, the Bucks just traded with. So things start to get interesting now when you're looking at how these salaries could work. But this trade was necessary. So if they thought they had any chance at landing Jimmy Butler, this trade was necessary in order to help that happen. Of course, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, Marjon Beauchamp would equal that. You throw in your 2031 first-round pick, you throw in your 2031 second-round pick, and then you assume that you can make one of these moves. Now the problem is, would that be enough for the for the Miami Heat? Role players, salary dumps basically, and one first-round pick. You'd have to assume the Phoenix Suns, with their 3 first-round picks that they got back in the deal that they made a few weeks ago, that you just have to assume that that would be a better deal than, of course, the Jimmy Butler trade to the Bucks. That being said, if things start to slow down and the Bucks are able to, snag a Jimmy Butler, things could be very interesting there, especially because now the salary is matched. They're below the second apron threshold, and they can create a package for him while staying under that second apron threshold, using players that they aren't necessarily super fond of, aside from Brook Lopez, who's been their starting center for all of this season. But if now they're transitioning to playing Kyle Kuzma at the 4 more and opening up some more space there, spacing the floor better, playing small ball lineups with Giannis at the 5, all these different things, then you can start to see the vision as to why, they'd want Jimmy Butler. Because, if they are playing Giannis at the 5 and they want to trade for Jimmy Butler, it makes a ton of sense. You then have Dame, you have Butler, you have Kuzma, you have Giannis. Like, that would be an extremely good and extremely exciting team. So the Jimmy Butler situation starts to make a bit more sense. And you can see this here from Bobby Marks as well. To help Milwaukee build out the roster now and in the future, Kyle Kuzma is reducing a portion of the trade bonus in his contract. The reduced trade bonus allows Milwaukee to remain below the second apron. Kuzma won a championship with the Lakers back in 2020. And I'm seeing a lot of fans out there starting to come around a little bit to the deal. I still think it was a bad trade, but I do understand the thought of it. And if they go out and they flip it for Jimmy Butler, if they're able to get Jimmy Butler as well to pair with Kuzma, and they did the deal because it gets them under the second apron, which will allow them to make that move, then it makes some more sense for the Milwaukee Bucks. But the only way that the second apron even really matters for us is that they have to make another move. And the amount of players available now, about 24 hours away from the deadline, a bit over 24 hours away from the deadline, is going to be extremely interesting because players are hard to come by right now. They're very expensive. Teams are asking for first-round picks for a bunch of different players. We saw Robert Williams, who used to be and probably still is a Milwaukee Bucks trade target, command, or the Blazers are asking an unprotected first-round pick, which is absolutely asinine. You have the Bulls looking for a first-round pick as well. You have all these different things, and let's not forget, the Bucks still desperately need an athletic center, probably at the backup center spot. So I assume they're still shopping for a guy like Robert Williams, but they're also looking in the market for a guy like Jimmy Butler as well, who they've been linked to for a very long time. Even Nikola Vucevic is someone that is interesting there as well. But as you start to look at what the Bucks are like this season, Damian Lillard, Andre Jackson Jr., Kyle Kuzma, Giannis, and Brook Lopez. That would be the starting lineup we'd assume for now. However, there could be some lineups being run with Brook Lopez out. You can maybe have Taurean Prince in there, maybe AJ Green, a lot of these smaller players if they're running a small ball lineup. But as of right now, the projected lineup is Dame, Andre Jackson Jr., Kyle Kuzma, Giannis, and Brook Lopez, which I do think is a good lineup. I think they're going to start Kyle Kuzma, no doubt about it, and I think it's a bit better than Chris Middleton. However, you now move Taurean Prince to the bench. Bobby Portis probably gets traded if I had to guess. You hope AJ Green and Gary Trent Jr. can continue to play well if they don't make any other moves. But if you add Jimmy Butler to the mix, you move Ajax to the bench, then your team's looking a lot deeper. But let me know down below what your thoughts are. And again, comparing Kyle Kuzma to Chris Middleton this year, I mean, Chris Middleton has had better stats all across the board, besides points and rebounds, but I do think that Kyle Kuzma at this point is a lot younger. He has the higher ceiling. You put him back in a role player role. You put him alongside a couple of winners, at least one winner, proven winner, and Giannis winning the championship in 2021, and then Dame, who has been carrying teams for a while. I think that Kyle Kuzma has the opportunity to be a lot better than these advanced analytics say, and I think John Horst sees that, and that's also why they made the deal, as well as the fact of getting under the second apron threshold now, which allows them to make a bigger move for Jimmy Butler. But that'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. Thank you guys for watching, and would you do a deal involving Jimmy Butler at this point? Let me know.